So, James, can you describe what street level is and why it exists?
So Street Level is a community-based organization. It was basically founded, just to get the history of it, it was founded because there was a lot of gangs in the neighborhood. So it was used as like a safe haven for gangs to communicate with each other through media as opposed to violence. And over the years, it's kind of evolved into being like an after-school center. It's basically like a second home for a lot of youth in the community, and we teach, we're real big on media literacy. So everything from like photography, video, audio production, you know what I'm saying? That's what this space is. It's kind of like school, but a little more like a cooler, relaxed environment, yeah.
What is the social injustice that street level is helping remedy?
I think there's a lot, man. There's inequalities everywhere as far as just like, there's gender issues. There's issues with race one of the things we're big on is just like giving youth access to resources that may not have it. They call it at-risk youth. But that's been our mission from day one. And it's kind of shifted because like there used to be a digital divide where there wasn't a lot of youth with like access to technology. Not every kid got a phone, and if you got a phone, that's pretty much as good as a computer. So a lot of times, we're just about giving the youth a voice and giving them a platform to speak on issues that they may not be included in certain conversations, and we just want to open it up to those youth.
So why did you join street level?
I joined Street Level. Honestly, at first it was because I ain't really had nothing to do. One of my homies had brought me up here, and he was like, "Man, it's real cool." I think he was in a program at my high school that I went to, and one of the instructors was from Street Level. So he had me come up here, and it didn't look anything like close to how it looks now. It was just like very minimal. They had computers, they had camera equipment. But I started to stick around because like they actually let me use the cameras and stuff, and I was like, man, y'all ain't scared that I'm gonna break it? They're like, nah, you know what I'm saying? So the people was real cool. Paul Terrell, do you know Paul? You probably know Paul.
Probably if I see him.
Probably, yeah, if you see him. But Paul, one of the early founders, he was there originally. So just got to know the staff, and like I said, it had that feel. Like it was, I knew they was trying to teach me something, but it wasn't like a school structure. So I stuck with it.
What has been your role at street level?
My role at Street Level has been, man, everything from like media producer. I started out just learning video, and that was the main thing I was doing for a while. Once I started to go to Columbia, I became an intern, and I started to be more hands-on with doing workshops with kids, and just being like a space monitor. So at this point, I still am a media instructor, but I also do like a lot of mentorship. So yeah, that's what I would say. I would say like my role is a media instructor, and I also provide mentorship. And I think me and Lisa both kind of serve as like the spirit guide for Street Level, just in terms of like having that finger on the pulse of the youth and of the streets. So,
how does street level inspire community action?
Street Level inspires community action by it's a little different now. Now it's more based on the technology, so it's based off of like the outcomes that of youth produced work, and they pretty much just shoot it across social media and get it out there like that. But in the past, it was a lot more grassroots. Like we used to do block parties and like really get the whole community involved. Now I do feel like it's a bit of a disconnect because it is a more focus on like the technology and the teaching. But I feel like in other ways, my bad. What was the original question again?
Oh, community action.
Community action. I feel like we prepare a lot of our students. We prepare them just to like to one, be thinkers, to be critical about everything that they see. Since we do have a focus on media, a lot of the youth that come here, they get their information through like TV, social media, all that stuff. So I think we just prepare them to be more critical and just like listening to things and watching things and really, just question uh, certain agendas. So it's not a direct thing that I could think of, but that's one of the ways that we inspire community action.
Okay, so how has yours and street levels goals changed over time?
Hmm. Um. Well, when I first came here, like I said, I was just looking for something to do. Like I mean, I had done a little work with youth, but that was like my first summer job. I was a camp counselor. So initially, like I wasn't here to work with kids. It was all about learning. Um, but the more I learned, I was like, man, it would be really cool to have an opportunity to pass this knowledge down to some of these younger kids. So I think over time, that's how my objective has changed. As far as street level, um, I think it's just more so. It's more so branching out and yeah, like I said, keeping up with the youth. Just like with building the studio when I first came here, there wasn't no audio production, and like now every kid raps. You know what I'm saying? So um, just knowing that you could benefit from having a studio. So it's more so like us figuring out like we have to adjust to the times and really stay on top of that because like I said, every kid raps, every kid has access to a computer. Um, so now it's just thinking of like what's the next level we can take it. So if for instance like we got a lot of youth that are interested in video games. So now it's like going towards app development and other things like that. Things that are out of the norm for a teenager at this point. So
All right. Along with that, how have the teaching methods or the faculty's methods changed over time?
again, I would say the same thing. It's just adjusting to what the youth are into. I think as a teacher, um, I mean, as anyone that's dealing with youth, you have to know certain things. Like you have to. I wouldn't say you have to, but it just makes you a better. It makes you more relatable to the youth, and I think it does make you a bit of a better teacher if you know certain things, like what they're listening to, what are the TV shows, what are the movies they're watching, um, all that. So I think as a teacher, like as I get older, like I still try to stay connected, and it's like all the stuff that young people are listening to. It's like I'm not a fan of, but I get it. It's like I can get the energy, and I can sort of like gauge why they like it.
Can you describe some of yours and street levels successes?
Right. I would say my success is man basically going through the ranks. Like I started off as like I said, just coming here after school. Um, I was able to attend Columbia College and study film and video, and that was something that I never thought that I would. Like college wasn't really on my radar because my parents weren't able to pay for it, and I just wasn't like enthusiastic about school after high school. Um, so the fact that I was able to like make that transition and uh, continue to contribute and like teach the youth, I think for me that's a success story overall. And street level, street level has a I don't care, it's a message. Street level has just continued to evolve. It's it hasn't been stagnant, and I mean a lot of people that were connected to us when we were young, like they're still around. Like I know you came as a teenager, and like you're still connected, and that's a story for a lot of kids. Like on any given day, like I may run into someone that came here when they were like early teens, and now I see them and they're thriving. And just that is really gratifying, you know what I'm saying?
Thriving, but yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying. You ain't locked up,
Yeah.
you doing good for yourself. You're doing something positive, and you're trying to make a difference. So like that I think is street levels the success story. And I would say this, the same for me. Just knowing that my work isn't in vain, I guess, and like the kids are actually listening, and it's helping them grow. So That would, yeah, I would say that's both success stories.
All right. Now, can you describe any of yours or street levels failures?
Failures. Like I would say, now there's kind of a disconnect as far as like community engagement. Um, just as far as being hands on and being there. Just to give an example, like I remember going to New Orleans a year after Katrina happened and just going down there to help out. And I think a lot of that has gotten lost in just keeping up with the technology. Um, yeah, I mean, if I think really hard about it, I'm sure there was a couple of bumps along the road, but I think in any case, like if there was a failure, if there was something that didn't work, we were always able to adjust and sort of figure things out and go back to the drawing board. Even as a teacher, um, I still learn. You know what I'm saying? I still learn as I'm doing it. Um, so, yeah.